Yes, as the gentleman says, welcome to Wario World. This is Digital Wilds, I'm Robin, and I thought we'd have a look at one of the lesser-known games in the Wario series. This was released on 2003 for the GameCube, and again re-released in 2004 for the GameCube, and it's a little bit different to what you might be expecting a Wario game to be like. So, without further ado, let's get started. Long ago, there was an evil black jewel that fed on the wishes of people, turning their desires into power. This dark jewel gave birth to many evil spirits, who then tormented the good creatures of the world. Then, just when it seemed like the evil spirits would overrun the land, the spritlings of the sacred forest ensnared the black jewel and hid it deep away within their ancient ruins. But over time, these events were all forgotten, and one day a greedy treasure hunter stole the jewel from the ruins. I wonder who that could be. Ooh, free at last. I'm chock full of power. I think I'll turn all of this greedy sap's jewels into evil spirits. Wahahaha! Oh dear. I love the idea, by the way, that Wario's days in his castle are just spent cackling to himself over a huge pile of treasure. It's very on brand. So we are in control of Wario, and as you'll see, this has a very different style from your typical Mario games. It's more along the lines of a sort of Luigi's Mansion thing, given the fixed perspective 3D and the rather early 2000s, looking to put it charitably, graphical style. Unlike Luigi's Mansion, though, this is a traditional platformer. Turns out jumping into pits is not smiled upon in Wario World. So the camera controls are really weird in this. We can tilt up and down, we can sort of shift left and right, we can kind of pan it to see different bits of Wario, but we can't actually turn the camera. It's not that kind of game. So if you're expecting a Mario Sunshine style romp, you will be disappointed. This was developed by Treasure, who players may know as the team behind Sin and Punishment on the N64. This was their second game, so this is not a first-party Nintendo title, but I think it captures the Wario-ness of Wario fairly well.
I'm number one!
Indeed, Wario. And as such, the number one must go into this level, take various treasures, and beat the boss. So, without further ado, let's check out the first level. So, Greenhorn Forest is our first stop. This looks a little bit Pikmin-y, and in fact, I'm a little bit suspicious that they might have reused some assets or some of the 3D models. So we get our first tutorialization, which is that within these brick boxes, should we break them out with our punches, we can find the spritlings. There are 40 of these guys, and they basically they are the way that we beat the gem and return our Wario's castle to Wario's possession. As a result, we'll want to get as many of those as possible. So we can climb up this tree and find ourselves our first enemies. It's a kind of brawler style thing where we got we got Wario's punches obviously, but we got his charges as well, and we can also pick up and throw enemies in classic Wario style, and that will get us money. So we'll want to pick up as much treasure as possible in order to get a better castle at the end of the game. But it seems to have summoned this chest. So yes, you can pick up treasures to get sort of bonus games that you can play with the GBA link cable. I obviously can't do that because well, I mean, technically I could link it to the Game Boy Advance emulator. I have done that in the past, but it's a bit unstable, shall we say, and so I won't be bothering. But basically, that you unlock little micro games from WarioWare, which I'm not sure whether that might have been a promotional thing, because I'm not actually sure whether WarioWare had been released at the time. So it's rather a nice little bonus if you have the original and you have a Game Boy Advance link cable. Yep, so we can get these golden Wario statues, and they let us expand our maximum health. As you'll see, we only have 4 at the moment, which isn't particularly high. Right, so another Wario statue for us, and a bunch of enemies defeated. There's some slightly dodgy voice acting in this. If you heard him yell, "Get out of here," it doesn't really sound very Wario-y. I don't think Charles Martinet was really on his game. I mean, Wario's never been particularly hugely voice acted before this. It was just, the occasional voice clips and stuff. So I get that there's a bit of a difficulty in adapting that. The backgrounds here are really dreadful as well, really low resolution, and just do not look good on any kind of modern system. This is a bit of a shame that they went for this slightly, I guess what was then considered to be more realistic style, but unlike the more cartoony style of Wario the Shake Dimension on the Wii, this really hasn't aged very well. So we're getting tutorialized here about the climbing controls, which, as with climbing controls in most platformers, are dreadful. But by falling down here, we at least find out that there are bombs contained in some chests, which are, you know, not our friends, to say the least. By stomping that button, we release a chest up here, which, if I go and break that open, we get another treasure for our treasure hoard. This game's music is incredibly jazzy, which is nice. They kept that tradition alive from the previous Wario games. It has a little bit in common with Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, which was another early GameCube platformer, which we might have a look at some point. It was a Sega title, that one, but it had the same thing of quite small contained worlds with rather unique mechanics. Aha, so we're going to have to deal with what that guy calls the Stone Doohickey, and... Right, we've got a certain number of red diamonds. Lovely. So we'll need 3 diamonds. These are similar to the diamond pieces that we got in Wario Land 4, and the gateways where we can get them are very well signposted. So down here... Oh, okay, so there's a spring that launches us back to the surface. Don't want to accidentally walk into that. There's also this guy who's a garlic vending machine, and he will sell us health in exchange for money, which is a rather direct transaction, but I suppose it fits with Wario's personality. So jump up here, and yeah, these are basically little platforming challenges, which don't have a time limit on them or anything. We do actually get free camera control in this one, which is nice. Lovely. So we not only get one of the 3 diamonds we need, we also get a heart piece that will allow us to make Wario a little bit tougher later on. So these bigger enemies can't be killed by punching and can only be killed by throwing or by having an enemy thrown into them, but that's easy enough to do. We're sort of learning here that only the side of the block with the X on can be punched, which suits me fine. Second trapdoor, and again, solve this little hidden world. This kind of reminds me of the platforming challenge levels in Mario Sunshine, which had only come out about a year before this game, so that may have been in their mind as well. Not as polished, and the controls in Wario World are a little bit loose. You might be able to tell. It's very easy for Wario feels a bit light and slidey, which is why this game doesn't have the best of reputations. It reviewed okay. It got about it sort of seemed to get, it was in that kind of 7 out of 10 bracket for a lot of reviewers, which, you know, is fine, but unremarkable. We'll jump on this little bunny thing, and yeah, by butt stomping it, we can get a higher jump, which is lovely. It takes us up to the next level. And over here, we can get up to this 3rd trapdoor. Just going to quickly take out these pterodactyls. So you'll see here the camera controls making this incredibly awkward to manage. Oh well, we've managed to not take them out, but we can instead climb up this little ladder cut into this tree and see what's on the upper level. Got some of the bigger enemies, which is fine. We can just pick them up and use them as missiles. So while some controls are really light and floaty, some of them are really gluey and unpleasant, like the throwing control for the enemies. He turns incredibly slowly when you've got one in your hands, which is not what you want, really. If we hold down B, we can do a charge attack like you can in the traditional Wario platformers. That unfortunately will not take out the tougher enemies. They can still only be taken down by being thrown, as apparently can this guy. And down he goes. So that takes this button here, which we've pushed, and oh, those enemies respawned very, very quickly, which is unfortunate. If we hit back down here, we've got the chest. So with that, we get another treasure, which is nice. So finally, into that trapdoor. Okay, so instead of a platforming thing, this time we've got a sort of puzzle to whittle our way through this block and hopefully find a way to climb to the top. This shouldn't be too difficult. Yep, indeed. There we go. So that gets us the statue piece, which will expand Wario's maximum health. If I break this down from the top, that's probably the safest way. Uh-oh. So I seem to be trapped within here with no way to see where I'm going, but if I can punch that block and then that block, I can start climbing my way out. And here we go. So we now have all 3 of the rubies required. I don't know if there are more to get, or whether those are the 3 that are sort of, you know, if those are necessary, or whether there's some element of variety. I'm going to destroy the rest of these blocks because there's money to be had. So after pointlessly destroying every block in the place, we leave this secret area with our pockets much heavier than when they entered, and we're returned to this most intriguing forest level with the 3rd spriteling to collect. Okay, so it's telling us things we already know, but whatever, we need to collect them anyway for purposes of the ending, so at the very least we can collect this large amount of treasure. Oh, and there is a fourth little world. It might be useful to collect another ruby, even if I don't need it for the purposes of boss battling. So what can I do here? It's unfortunately impossible to see what's at the top of these things. They all seem to be equivalent height, so is it a case of trying to create some kind of ladder? Okay, yep, so there we go. Wario is not agile enough to have a kind of wall jump in the same manner as Mario, so that's not something I'm going to be able to do. I'll just have to rely on my mad platforming skills. No statue piece on that one, we just get a bulb of garlic, which strikes me as slightly stingy, but at least we can destroy these blocks and collect some treasure. So we're now up to a rather healthy almost 500 coins, which obviously is useful just because Wario likes being rich, but is also handy in gameplay terms because we can use that to buy health at the garlic machines. We can also use it to respawn should we die, which obviously I'll be endeavouring not to do, but given my record in video games thus far on this channel, it might be an eventuality we have to concede. So this guy is invincible from the front, but if we can hit him from the side or the back, he can be picked up and thrown just like anyone else. Aha, so there's a statue piece lurking up there, which takes us up to 4 of those now, I believe. I don't know how often we get a health upgrade from them, but I'm hoping it's reasonably soon. And we find a 5th trapdoor past those enemies, this time involving this kind of sticky globe, which I guess will travel some kind of weird path that we have to avoid getting spiked. This is a very strange mechanic, not one I was expecting, but I guess it presages the Mario Galaxy experience. So duly tutorialized on the sticky globes, we return to the forest. I think at some point we're going to need to jump over that pile of logs, but first I'm going to go up this ladder and see what awaits us there. Giant stone Wario head, classic. So taking out those 2 Stegosauri at once lets us chuck one into the other. Right, so we've hit the blue Wario button, and we'll see if there's a platform soon where I can get some kind of reward from that. And here it is. That's an extra gem for us. So another spriteling for us. Basically saying don't jump down holes, and if you do, you'll end up in Unithorn's lair, which is kind of a sort of punishment system for falling down holes that isn't death. It kind of drains you of coins gradually. It's a weird system that I've never really seen implemented anywhere else. And maybe in Demon's Souls, actually, we had that kind of purgatory level that you'd return to when you got killed. Although, I think that might be the first time anyone's ever compared Wario World to Demon's Souls on the internet. Right, so we have to get up there and get the chest accordingly. Right, this seems to make sense. That was concerningly easy. Am I going to get some kind of trap as I leave? Another free gem for me. I guess that's there for complete noobs who can't get the 3 any other way. Alright, so 2 bridges here. I imagine, yep. This is to tutorialize me onto Unithorn's lair. So, as explained, I get the coins slowly sucked out of me via the Unithorns. I have to, I guess, break these boxes and find the escape spring. And there we go. Well, that was a educational experience, even if not the kind of outcome I was looking for. So instead, we go across the other bridge and find ourselves another spriteling. Right, so if we haven't got the diamonds, we can get on the balloons and they'll take us back to the start of the level, which is nice to know. Instead, though, I'm just going to stand here and wait for these gems to get plugged in. And there's the boss entrance. Now, I'm just going to quickly punch my way through here, just in case there's anything else to collect. So, punch that button. Treasure count now looking very healthy at 630. And yes, we have discovered a whole bunch of new secret levels, which I'm going to indulge my way through at the earliest opportunity. Just need to beat up my enemies here. Up to a total of 68 enemies killed as well, which is a nice bonus to have. I don't know whether that does anything, whether I unlock anything for that, but you know, I'm not going to look a dead enemy in the mouth. Instead, I'm going to head and do this secret level. So I guess, oh, okay, that was easy enough, just teaching us about climbing. Managed to get hit by that, our first hit of the game, and it wasn't even by an enemy, just by a random floating spiky sphere. So, dodge past these guys, so I can't be bothered fighting them. Back here, and go through the next secret level. So, 2 switches here. I'm guessing one of them will help me, the other one will hinder me. Ah, okay, so we can rotate with one and move with the other. Got it. There we go. Lovely. So we've got far more gems than are actually necessary for this level. We have at least got a full health top up without having to spend any money, which obviously Wario would loathe, being the libertarian he is. So just a quick check to see if there's anything else at the end of this level before I go through and fight the boss. Just going to butt stomp this switch and charge back through here to try and find the remaining treasure. which is here. And that gets us some kind of other gem on a backing. Wasn't sure whether that bridge would collapse on my way through, but apparently not, so now it's time to face the boss. So with a weird perspective, we get this gooey frog with boxing gloves. So let's test this guy out. Okay, so he can be attacked but not damaged by punching him in the back. He can be sort of provoked. He can be knocked over, and then I guess do we throw him into the fire? Okay, so it's like Mario 64 fighting Bowser. Got it. Makes sense. Hopefully it doesn't get complicated and we have to start throwing him into bombs and stuff like that guy. Oh, or we can just lead him off the edge. Okay, this is really super easy, and he doesn't even have as much health as me. Okay, I get this is the first boss of the game, admittedly, but, you know, doesn't strike me as a particular challenge. And with that, it looks like he's dead. Okay, that was, this isn't the most challenging of games, it seems. Nice one, Wario. Well, didn't quite get all the bonuses available for killing enemies, but we got a decent chunk, so with 900 and odd coins in hand, let's head back to the hub world, and we open up our second level. Lovely. So here, again, the same situation applies. Got to beat the boss, gather diamonds, and unlock the next level. So I guess it looks like we're climbing this sort of Aztec pyramid thing, and at the top there'll be some kind of boss we can go and challenge. A big boss of the world. So I guess that easy guy we just beat up was a kind of mini boss rather than a serious challenge. So instead of Greenhorn Forest, we're now Greenhorn Ruins, which looks a little bit Resident Evil 4 for my liking. So I mustn't destroy that block because I need it to activate that button. Now I can destroy it and activate that and get the treasure that's beneath. So some kind of staircase made of destructible blocks. What's the betting? That if I destroy these, I'll find some kind of treasure platform. Yep, there we go. Okay, I've learned my Wario world. Okay, I can pull out a mad move, what they call a wild swing ding. Okay, we're going to have to try that out at some point. So we've got some extra moves we can do on enemies when we're picking them up. Got it? Which I guess makes sense, because otherwise the combat is very simplistic. Okay, so we can use those new moves to solve puzzles as well. Excellent. Well, let's give it a try. Aha, so we just spin the control stick while we're holding an enemy, and we will be able to rotate gears like this. Lovely. And then he gets chucked at the end as well. Oh, so a bit of depth perception in the level for once, not just a flat platforming section. Can we beat up these enemy spawners? I would hope so, because I don't want to fight infinity number of these guys. Plus, if we pick this guy up, we can jump and press R, and we'll get a pile driver, which is a big AoE attack that can deal with loads of enemies at once. I guess there is a treasure bonus to be got by killing lots of enemies in this levels, and you can kind of cheese it on this one by just letting them respawn endlessly. Firstly, charge through this dinosaur guy so I can take him down, and then... Oh no, first hit of the level. I'm down to an unfortunate 2.5 hearts, which is not great. Lovely. So, what I like about Wario World so far is just how anarchic it all is, how much fun Wario sounds like he's having. So I can't get through that level yet. I guess that means I'll need to pile driver my way through. So if I can get some enemies, if I can pick up, I guess that's why they provide these guys. Yep, down he goes. So take him over here, and with his help, yep, we can break through that door. Aha, so this is very much Mario Sunshine inspired, because we're obviously stuck way up in the sky. I'm guessing these blocks are not going to be as cooperative as I'd like them to be. Oh, apparently so. Yeah, I can just get treasure. Alright, that was remarkably easy. And yeah, up here, get a whole bunch of treasure. I guess it's sort of super monkey balling me, where if I take risks I can gather more than if I don't. But honestly, this doesn't seem like it's too much of a hazard. I'm definitely going to fall off here, aren't I, after saying that? Okay, it's slightly disorienting, I will give them that. I'm not going to collect all the treasure, I'll just grab the gem and head back up. Yep, so they're now stating explicitly what was made implicitly clear before, which is you can just climb up these things like a ladder. They are sticky surfaces for Wario that make it sound like a whiteboard. Is it worth buying some more health? I feel like it might be. Oh, that's satisfying. Big AoE attack takes down all the enemies at once. Alright, so we've got a green platform here. Going down these platforms in reverse is slightly disorienting. I guess that's kind of the point. Alright, so we've got ourselves a nice expensive looking jug that we can flog down the market when Wario's done with all this. Maybe pick up a garlic piece just to top myself up, if I can possibly get to it despite the crowd of enemies. So now at full health, most of those guys taken down into the second secret area. This one doesn't need a pile driver, that was just a sort of tutorial thing going on. So, guess I'm just dodging the spiky balls. Okay, I do seem to keep getting hit by them, which isn't ideal, so I'll just grab the diamond and head out. Hopefully I can get another Wario statue soon, and I'll finally get an extra health bit. Right, up this chain. Aha, so this guy doesn't seem like he particularly means us well, if I'm honest. Yep, so he's... I guess I need to, yep, throw the robots into him. And he's doing a Zelda thing, like those enemies from the tower that shoot laser beams at you. I think they're called IFOS or something really obvious. Aha, so we have to hit it from behind, that makes sense. We'll have a good mini-boss fight. Okay, so he's now dizzy, which means I can pick him up and belt him at the wall. Does the job, and we get a measly amount of treasure out of it. I'm going to climb down that chain, not jump down it, but whatever, we've made it without taking injury, so I'm not going to complain too much. If I punch this wall guy... Aha, so he falls over like a sort of perverse thwomp from Mario and unlocks a route back for us. I did not mean to do that. Right, so duly returned to where we should be. We can press on and try and look for another sort of secret area. So there's a Wario statue piece down there, which might be nice to have. I'm going to quickly platform my way over that. There we go. But we can bash this wall guy down, and that'll enable us to go back to earlier in the level, should we fall off the edge again. Right, so we've got another gear here, so we've got to get one of these guys from the spawner and use him to, when we get a big one that we can pick up. Not that I mind the small ones, because it helps get my kill count up at least, if I can dodge past them. There we go, so if we spin him the correct direction this time, we can unlock the gate. Very specific with the requirements of their physics-based puzzles in this, aren't they? Along with a big pile of enemies here, we've got some sticky globes and what looks like some kind of Blastoise equivalent. Well, whatever, we can hit that button and we find ourselves another secret. So it looks like I have to sort of navigate the bad camera controls and climb the middle of this thing without hitting the spikes on the outside. Okay. Well, we get some garlic there at least, so health's topped up a little bit. This is reminding me a bit of Captain Toad. There's a lot of this game's features and aesthetic that kind of feed into later games, which I rather like. So the Unicorn's Lair is kind of a cute idea for if you fall off a ledge, but given that it's very easy to fall off a ledge in this game, and it makes you play the little mini-game every time you do it, I actually kind of think I would maybe prefer just taking some damage when I fall off, given that, you know, it is my own fault. So I'm just going to pay this garlic guy 20 to give me my hit for the day, and go and collect the contents of this treasure chest. So to climb up these, it's slightly too high to do a normal jump, so we have to do this charge jump, which is a bit unwieldy to control. You can't maneuver in mid-air like you can with a normal jump, so we need to be a bit careful and use the sticky globes where they're available. When I read the Wikipedia page for this game when I was researching this, it mentioned the sticky globes. It didn't mention quite how prominent they are as a gameplay feature. I thought it was a bit odd that it mentioned them so much, and clearly I was not wrong to think so. So we climb up these ones, we get ourselves another spriteling. Okay, we got a battle ring, so we've got sort of arena fights where we have to take out as many enemies as we can within the time limit, I see. And we get a number of coins based on that, so okay, I can deal with that. The charge attack being very useful for this. Plus the swinging attack, which we can use this guy as a sort of club to clear our way through hordes of them. Here we go. So this proves very efficient with other kinds of enemies as well. Don't you guys try it. Honestly, why did they even send these guys against us? They're just fodder. Takes my total kill count near to 300, which is very nice. And there we go. So what do we get as a prize? Oh, a big pile of treasure. Not bad at all. And it looks like we'll need an enemy to pile drive our way into this secret level, so the game obligingly provides some for us. Right, so we've got one at last, and in we go. This is, again, extremely Mario Sunshine, the floating gears in Void, although I like that in typical Wario style, they're quite grimy and concrete and industrial. It's a rather nice touch. The camera controls are not on my side on this one, I'm afraid. This seems simple enough. If we just wait for this guy to rotate, we can make the jump. Another statue piece, and a diamond. So with that done, let's bash our way past these guys, and it looks like we've got to get that gear spinning. Easy enough when we don't have to carry it over a narrow ledge. So that's open. And we've got to make our way up quickly before the gate returns. So another Blastoise waiting for us. Just need to... Oh, so now he's dizzy. We can start him spinning. There's a bit of a high score for how many times we can spin him around as well. Excellent. Let's see if I can beat 23. No, only 19 available. Still, onwards and upwards. Onwards and downwards, as the case may be. So we got to destroy all these guys and find the diamond hidden under them. Okay, makes sense. If I can get ourselves spinning, we might be able to... Oh no, I thought we were able to destroy a load of them at a stroke, but in fact we've just got to slog our way through throwing them all. Okay, well that makes sense, I guess, although it's not the most exciting thing gameplay-wise. So there's some kind of audio cue that seems to increase as I get nearer them. Makes sense. I mean, I could just trial and error my way through it, which does seem to be my approach so far. Okay, so after a lot of searching we find the statue piece, but we still haven't found the diamond. Oh no, there it was, under that one in the corner. Got it. So that took a lot of searching, but we got there in the end. So we find another spriteling over here, and yeah, there's lots more of them. Doesn't quite tell us what the rewards for saving them are going to be, but we've got our number of diamonds, so the boss arena is open as soon as we wish to take it. I'm going to do a couple more secret areas first, though, just to for the sake of completion. I quite like this. It doesn't actually seem to be particularly possible to fall off. You just got to be careful at the edges. Okay, well that was simple enough. I'm going to go and collect myself some treasure, but other than that, there's not really much to say about this one. Get ourselves a decent amount of treasure out of it, though. So as we dodge our way past Blastoise, we can see that there's a treasure podium here, which I'd quite like to get filled out if I can. Aha, looks like that's up here, so if I go and smack that, we also unlock what I think might be the final secret area of the level. So if I can bash my way through here and go and collect one of the bigger guys from over here, we can grab him. And yep, another fairly simple platforming segment, although this does involve spiky balls, so I could die if I was very unlucky. Yep, we get another statue piece. Those keep promising me extra life capacity, but it never seems to materialise. I don't know whether I need 10 of them or something. I think I've got about 8. And with that, we hop across and get the last diamond of the level, I believe. Just quickly pay the garlic guy to top us up, and we'll head on and see what the boss has for us. Alright, so this guy has 5 health compared to the 3 of the very, very easy guy in the first level. And we got a kind of, yeah, horrifying Sarlacc creature. Oh, okay, which we can hurt by just punching him, although that does tend to result in our getting hurt as well. So, got to be a bit careful not to get Wario too injured. Okay, so this seems easy enough. We've just got to, I think every 5 punches we hit some damage, and if we can do a charge, that'll help us avoid getting sucked into his orbit down there. Kind of finely balanced on the health front at the moment, I will admit. Right, so if we now dodge out the way of his mighty claws, 2 health each for us. There he goes. Down to 1, and it looks like we should be able to get this finished off relatively easily. Especially fun when he appears so close to us. And down he goes. So, I've discovered if I hold L, I can suck in treasure with my mouth, which is slightly disgusting. You don't know how many people have touched those coins, Wario, but you know, we find ourselves victorious. And with a lot more bonuses because we've taken out so many enemies this time, which is rather nice. Excellent, so we're now over 3,000 coins, and we move on to what I suspect will be the final stage of this world. So, not much up here other than this door, so we'll just head straight through and see what awaits us in the next level. Turns out, just a boss battle, and this guy, or girl, it's not entirely clear which, does not appear to be playing around. However, we can see that she's got a sticky globe on her tongue and on her tail, so we're going to have to do some disgusting platforming here. Like so. And then butt slammer on the head. That makes her particularly mad, it seems. Not quite sure how we actually inflict damage at this stage, but I'm sure we'll find out. Okay, so grabbed onto the sticky globe again, and bash number 2. Whole bunch of treasure comes out, and if we... Aha, so we can now pick her up, and I guess just chuck her over the... Yeah, chuck her into the boundaries of the level. Which, again, is a bit Bowser-esque, but I suppose fits with Wario's MO of being mighty and brutish. Oh, we can also stun her by just charging into her, which seems possibly ineffective. I'm going to continue with my butt stomping plan, because that seems to do the job. And yeah, again, she's Thrown into the boundaries, although it doesn't take any damage that time. I guess I maybe didn't charge up my throw well enough. Go on, give me that sticky ball. Aha, here we go. And once again, bash her in the head. So pick her up, and if I fully charge the throw this time, that's more like it. Damage done. Not in any way a difficult boss loop, this, if I'm honest. This is only going to take me another minute. Unless there's some kind of late game twist where she turns red and starts firing lasers at me out of her eyes. Ah, so she's getting slightly better at moving her tail out the way. Ah, I've managed to get squished. Unfortunate. There we go. Punch her in the bum, and there she goes again. So there's only 2 health left. It's only a matter of time, really. There's also these columns, which I'm given to understand I can pick up and use as some kind of weapon. Oh yeah, so if I throw those at her, I can, yeah, bounce her straight into the boundaries of the level. That was very, very easy. And if as I suck in all this treasure, we find we've increased our count to over 3,700, and the boss goes down. So we'll see what that unlocks for us. Ah, it's a chunk of the key that unlocks that giant chest back in the hub world. Okay, well that was remarkably easy. The first of 4 worlds is complete, and we make some progress towards unlocking the chest that will let us take on the Black Gem. So we know where we're heading next. This is the spooky looking castle, which I'm sure will contain lots of frightening delights for Wario. So it looks like in addition to Spooky World, we've got Sci-Fi Lava Ice World, and we've got Gravity Falls World, which I imagine is going to be some kind of mystery circus level. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, given this is such a short game, I think we should leave Spooky World for the next video. I hope you've enjoyed this first experimental look at Wario World. I was intending this to be a one-off, but it's intrigued me so much and it's such a short game that I actually think it's maybe worth a little mini-series on Sundays. So next week, you'll look forward to me heading into Spooky World and hopefully taking out the second boss of the game. So thanks very much for tuning in. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. I'm only just getting started, so everything I can get is worth it. I'm also on Patreon at patreon.com/digitalwilds. If you want to chuck me £1 a month to help me keep this show on the road, that would be really appreciated. And in any case, I'm very grateful for you tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Thanks very much.